Good evening and welcome to Option Standard. It is 8/3/23. Welcome everybody. Just want to do a daily update here. I'm not going to go up on the higher time frame, so I'm going to stick with the daily time frame and then jump over to the hourly and even the 15 minutes just to kind of see what's going to go on tomorrow. I think we're going to get a little bit of a bounce, and then we have to look for a short. We're going to be looking at a couple different things. So I'm going to show you if you're bullish, what you should expect, and if you're bearish, what you should expect, which I'm on the bear camp. But we're traders. We trade both sides. Okay, so the SPX on the daily time frame, we're just checking it out with the MAs here. We're coming into, we just broke down from the 20 simple moving average. We are underneath the 8 EMA, so that means we're kind of trending to the downside. That's our trend indicator. We're breaking down, but we're right at confluence of some support here. So I just suspect we'd have some reaction off of this long-term uptrend line. This is a long-term trend line from back in 2018, I believe. And this one here is from the bottom of our wedge that we broke up on top of. I do suspect that we will break down from that wedge. That will be a fake break, but you see that it we definitely use that trend line, and it the market knows it's there, gapping underneath it, gapping over it, gapping under it, gapping over it. The trend line is there. It matters, and we're also at a support area as well. So that's why I think we have this graveyard doji. We get some follow through. We should have one or two up days here. Let's see what Friday does. We have a nice big candle Friday. I suspect that Monday, or at least late Monday, we should be starting to reverse. Any of the indicators, let's check out. A couple of these. Okay, so we have our bearish cross on the MACD. We have the lowering histogram. Histogram is starting to rise, so you can see that we're gaining momentum to the downside. We are looking at the RSI, which is playing out perfectly. We're getting near kind of that 40 area. So if you're a bull, you're looking at this being the bottom of the RSI. I suspect we have a little bounce, and we continue to go much lower on the daily time frame before we have any significant kind of bounce. Okay, and you see we have a trend line here on the slow stoke, and we're bouncing off of it. We finally broke down from it to have a secondary sell signal. Our first sell signal was from up here. After we chopped around and had divergence, so bearish divergence, we broke down from this 80 line, and that is our sell signal. So that's when we suspected that we would have an early sell on the market. That was confirmed right here when we had the actual crossover. We had it a little bit earlier, but you see it just went sideways. It didn't do anything. Started off with this bearish candle. That's a bearish engulfing candle, and then we had somewhat of a harami. I don't know if you could still call it a harami setup when you're inside the range. We broke down from that range, and I suspect the market just wants a retest to see if that range is valid or not. And I have this gap here in a different color because we had an island gap down, very bearish. If you get continuation, and that's the case, but the market always loves to check back on things. So that's all on the daily time frame. Unless we want to look at, we can check our oscillator. We're into the oversold condition. So sure, we could have a little bounce going there. We can get more oversold. It's possible. We have our summation. You see that starting to turn. That's making its lower high right now. And we suspect we'll come down, get a reaction off of this trend line, and then break down further. That's what we're looking into. I suppose when we get down to these levels, if we get down to these levels at the 41.72 area, that's when we'll probably be around this area as well. Not quite sure, but that's just a guess. Okay, so let's look at the 65-minute chart. we're going to put on all kinds of indicators here, and then we'll check out the Elliott wave. Let's go with the trend as our friend. Okay, so you have a lot of oscillators here. You have our rising wedge. You saw we broke down from that wedge with a gap down. That's the island gap. We're coming into support area and also the moving averages. Over in the futures, we are a little bit green. I do suspect that we do have a slight bottom here. We're trying to make an ABC, and we'll look at the futures in a second too, just so you can get a handle on what I'm looking at. We had our breakdown, but our momentum is starting to wane from the downside. So we're looking to try to make a bullish cross here just for a bounce. And that's if you're a bear, just for a bounce. And I'll explain our pattern when we get to the Elliott wave. But we're in this downtrend right now, so we haven't broken out from this downtrend. We did in the futures. We had a sell signal here, broke to the downside, and now we're getting that early buy signal from the from the RSI Stoke RSI, and also the same thing, just getting that from the slow Stoke, just getting that buy signal there. So that's why I'm looking for a bounce. We're in those type of conditions to where we should bounce. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but that's definitely what we're looking for, and we're playing that. We do have some put. We have puts on right now on individual, on stocks, on QQQ, on SPY, but we did hedge ourselves to the upside because we are looking for now. We're gonna sell the rips. That's what's happening. So we protect ourselves to the upside, but our main positions, our swings, are always going to be to the downside until the higher time frames say otherwise. Okay, so let's go ahead and put on the Elliott wave board and get rid of these indicators. So what we're looking at right now is a few different things. Okay. 2 bear scenarios and 1 bullish. Our bear scenario, that we have a 1-2 setup. Okay, and we're getting into a bounce right now. We played this bounce, we're getting the pullback, and it's going to bounce higher, we think. Now I think that's an A, B, C. It should be a nice zigzag to the upside. It should be sharp and pretty quick, meaning it should happen tomorrow, complete tomorrow, if not actually complete on Monday. Okay, the other rare scenario is that, see, we only have 3 waves here, so that's a problem for the bears, right? So every bull is going to say that's 3 waves, it's a correction, we're going to the upside. So the second scenario is that we're not finished yet. Okay, that this 1 is out of place, and what we really need here is a 3 and a 4. So if we make another low, then this scenario is the likely scenario. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, with the market, with Amazon being after the earnings, you know, it seems that things are going to be pretty strong. In the micro time frame tomorrow because of Amazon, and I don't think Apple's going to take down the market right now. It just seems like it's just going to down, but not down by much. And so I think this scenario is likely. We have a lot of individual stocks that we jumped into just for lottos tomorrow, and maybe if we have time here, I'll go ahead and point a couple of those out. But right now we have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then if you're a bull, if you are in the bull camp, we're looking for this to be a 3-wave move down for A, this pullback for a B, and then an impulsive 5-wave move down to be completed at C, and then this should be the beginning of a new high. All right, so this should be your 1-2 setup for the bull up there. So both scenarios, the beautiful part about this, even all 3 scenarios, even if we make a slight low, then we know we're going to have to go again to the upside. So even all three scenarios, but the two particular, the bull count and the bearish count that I have, so you have more probability that you're going to get this bounce, whether it's a new high or if it's just into these retracements. We're certainly going to get that bounce. That's why we're playing it. It's high probability that we're going to get this bounce. So how do we know how far we're going to bounce if we're a bear? This 1-2 already played out. So if we get above this 2, that it's completely bullish. There's nothing you can say about it. We don't have 5 waves down here, meaning a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't count it that way. You have 3 waves. So we'll take the retracement from the top of this 2 and to the bottom of this new lesser degree wave 1. And we'll go ahead and put the retracement out there. Our typical retracement, but it doesn't have to, is going to be around this 50 to 60% area from the 45.40 to the 45.52. Now we can get up to the 45.27 right in the middle here. You see that old retracement here, 786 from all-time highs? That can play as resistance too. So we don't want to play too aggressive once we start getting into these areas here. This is where we're starting to look to short again. Can it go a little above? Yeah, we have the gap here, which just to me says that we want to test that gap at the 62% retracement, that the market wants to test to make sure that gap holds, and we can continue down lower from this point. So I think it's probable that we actually get to this one. But if we start to get into the gap and we want to retrace to all the way back to the 90%, it's possible. It's possible, still lower high. It's just once you start getting those heights, you have to be careful. But you would take off most of your positions to the short side and look for different kind of confirmation. Okay. What's next? Okay, so we wanna be looking for this 3 wave. See if we hit another low, or what I think is more probable is that we started our bounce already and we're looking to short in these areas. We get above, it's bullish. All right, let's go ahead and go to the futures. Oh, if we do, I think did we look at all these? All right, if we put on all these, yeah, you get to see on this back to the hourly time frame. Yeah, I explained all these. Okay, very good. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. I thought we didn't show that. So back on ES. In ES, I just want to show the 15-minute time frame, and we'll go ahead and show you what I have on for a smaller scale. Take off these indicators, and let's go to the 15-minute L8 wave chart. This is all stuff that I added on recently, you guys, so I hope this helps in the smaller time frame. What we're looking for, this is very small here, so okay, we're looking for, we had our 5 waves down, and we're looking for this A. This A, I believe, is completed. It doesn't have to be. This could be your A, B, C into a wave A. That's possible. So if we do make a little bit lower levels, but I don't think so right now. I think this is a good impulsive wave where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move. For the zigzag, you have 5, and then you have a 3 wave move down. And now we're looking at a 1, 2, and follow through with 3, 4, and 5 to be completed somewhere around 50%, 62%. It could be higher. We have to look at the kind of the structure as we go to determine that. But this looks kind of funny here. So if this is a, this would be a flat pattern if this were a ABC, or it'd be a possibly a XYZ, a WXY, excuse me, into a double zigzag. But I don't want to get complicated here. For now, it's just A, B, and we're looking for an impulsive move up for C. All right, so that should do it for that. Let's we have a few minutes here. I don't like to go over 20. I don't want to go over 20 minutes. So let's put it back on the hourly time frame. Let's see if we can, let's look at Google. I know that's one that we jumped into that looked like it was ready to go to the upside. Now, if you notice after this correction here, we only have 3 waves up. Okay, so I'm thinking, hey, if we're bullish tomorrow, this thing's probably going to rip. Probably rip and get up to possibly that the upper end here, or maybe just make it eke out a new high, and maybe we'll just have a trend line right here. Now, if this is a if you count this larger scale as an A, B, and this is an ending diagonal, it's where all of the moves are 3-wave moves down to the end, then you know this can be a 3-wave ending here for the last leg of the ending diagonal, wave 5. But it's just not likely. So we're gonna play this and say, hey, we need 5 waves to end this cycle for Google. And if the market's gonna turn over, then Google has to have its finish as well. And so this we took as a probable trade here that it goes higher. But let's check out the Elliott wave here. And I think this will say, let's dig in. This will say it all. So we have our wave 1. Wave 4 does not cross underneath. It will invalidate if it does. We have 1, 2, a nice impulsive wave 3 with a gap for our earnings. A pullback into the 382, typical wave 4 pullback. And now we're looking for a smaller wave 1, 2, and we should get a nice impulsive move to the upside, a 5-wave move up there. Okay, so that's why we took a nice lotto on this one on Google. If you're in the Discord, down below is the description. I like to put a lot of these plays in there. You can check that out. It's all free. We are negative on, sentiment, negative sentiment. We are in puts for tomorrow and next week on NVIDIA. NVIDIA fell out of its channel here, and we're looking at this a couple different ways. We're not for sure, but we're at a 382 retracement right now, and so far there's a